Welcome, everybody. Welcome, welcome, welcome. This is Bethea's Byte Reloaded. Welcome on a Wednesday afternoon. Welcome to everybody who's joining in after watching the Carly Russell press conference. If you haven't seen that, I will have that going in just a little bit. First off, let me introduce myself and get all the pleasantries out the way. I am Ernest Bethea, the last outlaw. So good to have everybody here. And I want to give a chance for everybody to get themselves settled in, settled back, because we've got a lot to discuss. A lot. So much so I can say,
Okay, I'm reloaded.
I'm reloaded. So, everybody get yourself settled in. If you got to get popcorn ready, get your popcorn ready because we're going to go ahead and get this thing underway. As always, I'm starting off with a missing persons case, and that is that of Lashea Stein. There you go. You have three pictures of her to sort through, and here's the information I have on Miss Stein in just a moment or so. Lashea was reported missing on July 15th, 2016. She is, at the time of her disappearance, she stood at 5 feet 6 inches tall, weighed around 150 pounds, with brown hair, long black hair, usually worn in a bun, and brown eyes. She also has a quarter-sized round scar on her chest. On the day of her disappearance, she was last seen wearing a black V-neck shirt, black stonewashed jeans, silver hoop earrings, and a silver watch on her left arm. On July 15th, 2016, Lashea Stein left her residence in Aurora, Colorado around 2 a.m. Lashea was last seen in the area of Montview Boulevard and North Peoria Street in the early morning hours. She was scheduled for a job interview on the 16th, but she never arrived. Lashea has not made any interviews to contact made any attempts, to contact family members or friends since she had been gone. The Denver office of the FBI and the Aurora Police Department are investigating this case together. So, if you have any information concerning the whereabouts of Lashea Stein, you are urged to call 911. Get in contact with the Aurora Police Department at 303-627-3100. Colorado Crime Stoppers at 720-913-7867. You can also get in contact with your local FBI office, or you can submit the tip online anonymously at tips.fbi.gov. But whatever you do, people, please, if you see something, say something. Let's do all that we can, and let's bring Lashea Stein home safe. All right. Now that we got that out of the way, I'm gonna speak on something, and then I'm gonna end it. Okay, I'm not even what after I say this, I am not talking about this controversy any further. Last, how you doing, single mama four? Good to see you. Like I said, I'm gonna go ahead. I'm gonna say my piece on this, and I'm gonna end it. I will not speak of it further after this. Last week, I found out about a YouTube creator. I will not mention this creator by name because she's already in hot water as is. She's know what she's done. I will not repeat that again. What I will say is this: she made an apology video and pretty much retracted the video just by making certain statements in a comments section. Now, I didn't see these comments personally. I heard about them. How you doing, Sav? I've heard about these comments. I heard about her retraction. And all I can say to this person is if if you're going to make a statement that bold, you might as well never have apologized in the first place. Number one. Number two, if you're going to apologize, at least show some kind of sincerity in it. And if you're going to if you're really going to apologize, you shouldn't have to make so many editing cuts. I mean, I've seen more editing in movies than I've seen more editing in movies than I did with your apology. And if you're gonna apologize, you shouldn't have to go off script. Let me give you a quick example of what my apology would look like. To all my subscribers and viewers of Bethea's Byte Reloaded, I hereby apologize for taking up too much time with this particular subject. This is the kind of subject I should have even taken time to begin with to even address. I will not address this any further. And if I've done wrong, if I've done bad in your eyes, I promise you I will do better next time. There, I've said it. That's my apology. And there it is. I'm not going back any further than that. Now, let's truly get down to business. Now, I didn't think I was going to bring this up today until we had the press conference regarding Carly Russell's disappearance on Thursday and subsequent return home on Saturday. What I'm going to show you here is said press conference, and I'm going to let you deliberate on your own, which is why I have a poll up in chat. Was Carly Russell lying about her abduction, or was she being truthful? I'll let you be the judges on that. And if the
Hey guys, one final mic check. Mic check 1 2. Mic check 1 2. Mic check. Everybody give me a thumbs up. I just want to make sure we're good. Mic check 1 2. Mic check 1 2. We're in the city of Hoover, Alabama. 1 2 3. Right at 2:30 now, Central Daylight Time. Everybody good? Everybody good? Mic check 1 2. Mic check. We're getting very close. Mic check 1 2. Mic check. You're good, Mike. Mic check. You're good. You good? Everybody's good. You're good, sir? In the gray? Okay.
Okay, so basically the video is not syncing properly, but if you can hear everything going on, and if you can hear everything going on, give me a can you do me a favor and put a 1 in chat, please? That'll help me out a little bit. Now that we got that part out of the way, here we go with the conference.
Uh huh. Sure, back up, okay? Want me to give you one real quick? Okay. Mic check 1 2. Mic check 1 2. I think he's going to give everybody a 2-minute warning. I think. I'm not positive. Mic check 1 2.
Everybody good with microphones? All right, official 2-minute warning from right now, okay? 2 minutes.
Mic check 1 2. It's good? Okay.
All right, good afternoon and welcome to the Frank and Pam Bearfield Training Center. I'm Captain Keith Sescaleba, that's spelled Keithseskleba, with the Hoover Police Department. Joining me at the podium today will be Hoover Mayor Frank Brocato, spelled Brocato, and Hoover Police Chief Nick Durzis, spelled Derzis. You may also hear from Lieutenant Daniel Lowe, spelled Lowe, of the Hoover Police Investigations Division. Mayor Brocato will make a brief opening statement, and then Chief Durzis will read a prepared statement. After Chief's statement is complete, there will be an opportunity to ask a few questions regarding this investigation. Keep in mind that this is still an ongoing investigation, so there may be some questions that we cannot answer. With that, I will turn it over to Mayor Brocato.
Thank you and good afternoon for you all coming today. You know, 6 days ago our community learned about the disappearance of Carly Russell, and it sent fear and pandemonium not just through our city but the entire state and the nation as well. The media quickly joined us to get the word out about Carly. Our community sprung into action and they organized search parties, arranged prayer vigils. They took other steps that I'm not even aware of to help in this situation. The Hoover Police Department quickly rallied multiple partner agencies, stopping at nothing to find Carly. I'd like to take this time to say thank you first to the Hoover Police Department, our partner agencies, our wonderful community, and to all those that aided in some way in connection with this situation. As the days have gone on and more information has been shared, we know everyone has questions. The Hoover Police Department is known for being very methodical and thorough with their investigations. For that reason, we did not feel comfortable speaking in detail publicly until now. It is important that we share this information now so that our community can be put at ease. So at this time, I'll turn the microphone over to Hoover Police Chief Nick Durzis. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank everyone for being here today. Besides me stands the team who played a significant role in this investigation. I want to thank our department, members of surrounding local law enforcement agencies, the FBI, Secret Service, the United States Marshals, and ALEA for their assistance in this case. We said from the evening of July 13th, our focus would be the safe return of Carly Russell. That occurred on Saturday, July 15th, approximately 49 hours after she called 911 and disappeared. From that point, Our focus has been to determine Carly's whereabouts during that time and what exactly took place. Let me say up front, this investigation is not over. We're still working this case, and we'll work in this case until we uncover every piece of evidence that helps us account for the 49 hours that Carly Russell was missing. However, through the public interest, and in some cases, public fear that this story has generated, we owe it to our citizens to tell them the facts that we have uncovered. So I will give you the facts that we know today. On July 13th, at approximately 8:20 p.m., Carly left work from a business at the Summit. Surveillance video from her place of employment shows Carly concealed a dark-colored bathrobe, a roll of toilet paper, and other items belonging to the business prior to her departure. She ordered food from Taziki's at the Colonnade and traveled there. She then traveled to Target on 280, where she purchased some granola bars and Cheez-Its. From there, she remained in the parking lot at that shopping center until 9:21 p.m. when she drove to I-459. Carly communicated on her cell phone with individuals known to her while on her path of travel up to the point of calling 911 at 9:34 p.m. And at this time, we will play the 911 call in its entirety.
Hi, I am on Interstate 459, and there is a kid just walking by themselves. Oh, hold on. Where on 459 are you? I'm right next to the exit 10 by the superman, like you got my big head. Okay, so you're before that exit? Yes. Okay, and were you headed southbound or northbound? Okay, towards that foot or towards 280? Okay. And was the child on the left or right side? On the right side. Were they walking northbound or southbound? They're walking towards Tuscaloosa. Walking southbound. How old do they look? Like a toddler, like maybe like 3 or 4. Did you pull over with them? Are you still with them? Yes. Okay. Are you with the child right now? No, I'm not. I didn't get out of the car. I can see them though. Do you mind staying and keeping an eye on them until we get there? Yeah, sure, yeah. Okay, what kind of car are you in? I'm in a red Mercedes-Benz. Is that a sedan or SUV? SUV. I mean, it's a sedan, but... Can you put your hazards on for me? Yeah, they're on. Okay. Did you talk to the child at all, or did you say anything to them? No. Okay. No. Do they look like they're injured? No, they don't.
Are you guys able to hear the 911 call?
They're white. Okay.
One's a yes.
Is it male or female? I think it's a boy, a little boy. White male? Okay. So is he wearing clothes? Yes. Okay. What is he wearing? It's a white t-shirt, and it doesn't look like he has any pants on. It looks like a diaper. And you don't see any cars anywhere? No, no cars anywhere. Okay. All right. What's your name? My name is Carly Russell. And you don't see any injuries on the shop from where you're at, correct? No, but I can't really see them that good. Okay. Try to keep an eye on them for the best that you can, because I don't want you to lose track of them. Okay. All right. And do they have shoes on? No. Not that I can see. I can't really see that one. Okay. All right. I've got them on the way, okay? Just try to keep an eye on them, but officers are on the way, okay? Okay, thanks. Thank you. Okay, bye.
Carly called a relative after speaking with the 911 operator. She went missing during that conversation sometime after 9:36 p.m. Traffic camera footage was obtained which depicted this portion of the incident, and that footage was analyzed as part of the investigation in conjunction with the 911 call and cell phone data to accurately determine the time frame. Carly's 911 call remains the only report of a child on the interstate, despite numerous vehicles passing through the area at that time. No one has called to report that a child is missing, and the Hoover Police Department did not locate any evidence of a small child walking down the interstate. Data from Carly's phone, including her Life 360 app, shows that she traveled approximately 600 yards in her vehicle while she was on the phone with 911, stating that she was following a child. 600 yards. That is 6 football fields straight, 600 yards. The Hoover 911 Center received a second call from Carly's mother stating that a relative was on the phone with her when they heard Carly scream, and then they had an open phone line. Hoover police officers arrived on the scene within 5 minutes of being dispatched, and several other officers arrived shortly. They located Carly's wig and cell phone in the grass near the vehicle. Her purse was located in the front seat of her vehicle with her Apple Watch in the purse. The food she ordered for Tzatziki's was also in the car. The items she purchased from Target, as well as the items taken from her place of employment, were not in the vehicle, nor were they located anywhere around the scene. Hoover police deployed all available assets from the point in the search for Carly. Additional resources were called in to include our own drone unit, crime scene investigators. Numerous detectives responded to the scene. Throughout the day Friday, officers from surrounding local and federal agencies assisted Hoover police in the search for Carly Russell. Officers returned to the scene on 459 to conduct a thorough line search for evidence. K-9 teams from the Jefferson County Sheriff's Department responded to check for any sign of Carly, the child that she claimed to see, and anything else that could be considered evidence in this case. Those searches all turned up empty. Private citizens, including search parties organized by her family, friends, began looking everywhere that they could to find any trace. These searches took place throughout the day Friday and again on Saturday, yielding nothing. At 10:44 p.m. on July 15th, the Hoover 911 Center receives a call from Carly's residence stating that she returned home on foot. In subsequent investigations, detectives obtained surveillance footage of Carly walking down the sidewalk alone prior to arrival at her residence. She was conscious and speaking with paramedics when she was transported to UAB. Detectives were able to obtain a brief statement from her prior to being treated and released. During the statement, she told detectives that while traveling down the interstate, she saw a baby walking down the side of the road and called 911. She stated when she got out of her vehicle to check on the child, a man came out of the trees and mumbled that he was checking on the baby. She claimed that the man then picked her up and she screamed. He stated he then made her go over a fence. She claims he then forced her into a car, and the next thing she remembers is being in the trailer of an 18-wheeler. She stated that the male was with a female. However, she never saw the female, only hearing her voice. She also told detectives she could hear a baby crying. She told detectives the male had orange hair with a big bald spot on the back. She said she was able to escape the 18-wheeler and fled on foot, only to be captured again and then was put in a car. She claimed she was then blindfolded but was not tied up because the captor said they did not want to leave impressions on her wrists. She said that they took her into a house and made her get undressed. She believes they took pictures of her, but she does not remember them having any physical or sexual contact. She stated the next day she woke up and was fed cheese crackers by the female. She said the woman also played with her hair, but could not remember anything else. At some point, she was put back in a vehicle she claims was able to escape while it was in the West Hoover area. She told detectives she ran through lots of woods until she came out near her residence. During this interview, detectives noted that Carly had a small injury to her lip, and she claimed that her head was hurting. She also had a tear in her shirt. Detectives also noted that she had $107 cash in her right sock. Out of respect for Carly and her family, detectives did not press for additional information in this interview and made plans to speak with her in detail after giving her time to rest. Detectives continue analyzing data from Carly's cell phone that was left behind at the scene. We enlisted the help of the United States Secret Service in conducting this analysis. Part of what data includes several internet searches in the days leading up to her disappearance that I think are very relevant to this case. On July 11th at 7:30 a.m., the term, "Do you have to pay for an Amber Alert?" was searched. On July 13th at 1:03 a.m., the day of her disappearance, the term, how to take money from a register without being caught, was searched. On July 13th at 2:13 a.m., the day of her disappearance, the term Birmingham bus station was searched. On July 13th, 2:35 a.m., a search for a one-way bus ticket from Birmingham to Nashville was conducted with a departure date of July 13th. On July 13th at 12:10 p.m., a search for the movie Taken, a film about abduction, was conducted. There were 2 searches related to Amber Alerts on a computer at Carly's place of employment, including one regarding the maximum age of an Amber Alert. There were other searches on Carly's phone that appeared to shed some light on her mindset, but out of respect for her privacy, we will not be releasing the content of those searches at this time. We've asked to interview Carly a second time, but have not been granted that request. As you can see, there are many questions left to be answered, but only Carly can provide those answers. What we can say is that we've been unable to verify most of Carly's initial statement made to investigators, and we have no reason to believe that there is a threat to the public safety related to this particular case. Thank you very much.
With that, we'll open the floor for questions. Please raise your hand and I'll call on you. Carol.
Chief, do you expect any charges against Carly Russell in connection with the disappearance and in connection with what was taken from the Woodhouse fall?
Right now, our focus is to determine those 49 hours, so the investigation continues. So to be perfectly honest with you, that hasn't even entered our mind or been discussed.
One more question. Is it surprising to you that the family has not been cooperative in returning to be questioned?
Well, I think the family has stated to us that they didn't think that in her mental state right now, because of trauma of the incident, that she's not ready to talk, is what we've been told.
Correct, sir.
Yeah, question for Chief. You stated that the abductor had orange hair. Was this abductor black male? Was it female? Black female? White female?
I believe it's a white male. Am I correct by saying that? Was it ever? Yeah, white male.
Is this alleged abductor yet on the loose in the area?
Don't believe so.
Chief Brittany Gill, WBRC, has a toxicology report been done and were any drugs or illegal substances found in her system?
We have no report of that.
Is any indication of mental illness in this case?
Not that I'm aware of.
There's been a concern in the community that if this turned out not to be a true story, that the next time a young woman of color was missing, that it might not be taken seriously. How would you respond to that?
I'd respond to say that we investigate every crime to the fullest, just like we have this one.
Was she traveling with anyone? Excuse me. Was she traveling with anyone since the time she disappeared, to your knowledge?
Not to my knowledge.
Chief, I know you said you weren't able to verify a lot of aspects of the story. Where do you think she went, and how would you characterize what happened here?
You know, that's the $100 question. You know, we pretty much know exactly what took place from the time she left work until she got on the 911 call, and we can see getting out of the car on the interstate from that footage. And after that, I think she only knows. We don't know.
Well, one quick follow-up. Her parents. Did you speak with Carly's parents, and why do you think it is they were so adamant that there was an abductor?
Yeah, I think parents are believing what their daughter's saying, and we've had a very good rapport with the parents, met with them on several occasions. I've talked to them today a few times, and to make them understand that we're under pressure from our community, not only in our community of the state, but nationally when the story hit. And I just wanted them to understand that today we were going to have a press conference, and what we were going to detail today are facts. And everything that I've told you today is actual facts. It's not innuendos. It's not what I think. It's not what these detectives think. It is the factual information that we have. Well, I think our detectives have talked to the parents, and we're ready to talk as soon as she's ready. So, you know, she called right now. We're ready. Lou, how about unknown? You know, we know the facts that we have. Everything else is unknown at this time.
What have the past few days been like for you, your department? This has been a stressful search, hasn't it?
Well, absolutely. And again, the focus of the investigation that Thursday, when she went missing, of course, the focus was to get Carly home. That's what we want all. We wanted her safe and sound. And that's all happened. And then, of course, this has gotten to be not only a local, state story, but a national story. So, you know, it is. It's a lot of stress on everyone in the Hoover Police Department, and the mayor, to every citizen here. We want to know the truth.
As you stand here, are you frustrated?
I wouldn't say I'm frustrated. I mean, I'm very happy that Carly's home. That was the main ingredient here, and then we'll figure it out. I promise you that. We'll end up figuring it out.
Any idea about the number of manpower hours or the expense of the drones and all the rest of the search that might have cost the city and the state and the federal government?
Yeah, we haven't had time to consider that, but it's you know, again, these detectives that are here. This is just a small group of people that have been associated with this case. We have put every available resource that we have on this case because we wanted to make sure that we found out everything. We wanted to get her home, and we have.
Chief, is there any prior indication of mental health problems?
Not that I'm aware of.
Can you just expand on the people from the state, federal resources brought in? What were they doing exactly as you all were searching for? Can you just expand on that?
Sure. A lot of the from the FBI side, several agents helping us interview. I mean, as you well know, in a case like this, especially when it goes national, we got hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of calls. And when you get those calls, some of them may just be outlandish, but you got to follow up on them because you never know that you may get that one tidbit. And I'd also say too that we had a great cooperation with the family. The family received hundreds and hundreds of tips, and every time they got a tip, they sent it to us.
Would you say a crime has been committed?
No, we have not determined that. No.
Keith Mims, WH16, something media. Question for Chief. With all of the searches that you mentioned, Chief, that were on Carly's phone, does that kind of give you an indication of her mind state during this ordeal, the 48 hours that she went missing?
Well, you know, again, we want to talk in facts, and I do think it's highly unusual to the day that someone gets kidnapped, that 7 hours, 8 hours before that they're searching the internet, Googling the movie Taken about an abduction. I find that very, very strange. Yes.
Do you feel confident, do your investigators feel confident that you know why Carly Russell may have done?
No, we do not know. Absolutely not.
Chief, can you explain for us, you mentioned it while it was said that Carly was on the phone at 911, she was traveling 6 football fields, which tells you what?
Which tells me that I've had kids, and I'm sure a lot of people here have, and it's very, very, again, she said it, and I'm not saying it couldn't happen because I've always been one of these guys, never say never, but 6 football fields. I like athletics, I like football. 6 football fields. To think that a toddler, barefoot, that could be 3 or 4 years old, is going to travel 6 football fields without getting in the roadway, without crying, without any just moving down. It's just very hard for me to understand.
Chief, have you used any technology to enhance that video from 459, and did you see a man grab her?
We did not see, from what we can tell, we don't see anybody on the interstate other than her car and then someone getting out of her driver's side. We have sent that off to the FBI for enhancement. It has not been returned.
Do you think in this case that charges will be forthcoming towards Carly Russell, and how serious of a crime is it to not only fabricate a 911 call, but to lie to law enforcement during an investigation?
Well, you know, again, that's not something that we've been discussed since we're going through the still investigation. But, you know, people have to understand that when someone says something like this, we put every available resource. Everybody comes together from, like I say, state, local, federal. It's just a lot of work, and you know, the gentleman earlier said frustrated. I mean, it is a little frustrating to think that all this has been done and we can't find anything out.
Did anyone see her calling in from the side of the road when she made that 911 call?
No, not to my knowledge.
So is this investigation held up until you can speak once again to Carly Russell?
Well, there's a few things that we're still doing, but obviously we want to talk to Carly as soon as we can and do an in-depth interview. And at that time, I think we'll have these investigators doing some other things. So
That's all the questions we're going to answer today. We appreciate you guys coming, and we'll be following up with y'all later. Thank you so much.
And I want to thank ABC 3340 for that press conference. Joining me on the stream is Sav and Arctic Fox True Crime. Welcome, welcome, welcome.
Good morning from here. Hi, Arctic Fox. And hi, Bethea. How are you doing?
I'm all right. And this case is crazy from Jump Street. Wait, Fox, can you hear me? Yeah, this case has been crazy from Jump Street. So here's what I'm gonna do for you guys. We said that we couldn't hear the 911 call from earlier. So what I'm gonna do, I do have a link to the 911 call. So stand by. Oh boy. All right, here we go with the with the 911 in its entirety.
Hi, I am on Interstate 459, and there is a kid just walking by themselves. Oh, hold on. Where on 459 are you? I'm right next to the exit 10 by the Humber Med, like to get off by the Humber Med. Okay, so you're before that exit? Yes. Okay, and were you headed southbound or northbound? Like towards Tuscaloosa or toward 280? Towards Tuscaloosa. Okay. And was the child on the left or right side? On the right side. Were they walking northbound or southbound? They're walking towards Tuscaloosa. Walking southbound? Or how old they look? Like a toddler, like maybe like 3 or 4. Did you pull over with them? Are you still with them? Yes. Okay, are you with the child right now? No, I'm not. I didn't get out of the car. I can see them though. Do you mind staying and keeping an eye on them until we get there? Yeah, sure, yeah. Okay, what kind of car are you in? I'm in a red Mercedes-Benz. Is it a sedan or SUV? SUV. I mean, it's a sedan. Sorry. Can you put your hazards on for me? Yeah, they're on. Okay. Did you talk to the child at all, or did you say anything to them? No. Okay. No. Do they look like they're injured? No, they don't. Are they white, like Hispanic, or Asian? They're white. Okay. Is it male or female? I think it's a boy, a little boy. White male? Okay, so is he wearing clothes? Yes. Okay. What is he wearing? It's a white t-shirt, and it doesn't look like he has any pants on. It looks like a diaper. And you don't see any cars anywhere? No, no cars anywhere. Okay. All right. What's your name? My name is Carly Russell. And you don't see any injuries on the child from where you're at, correct? No, but I can't really see them that good. Okay, try to keep an eye on them for the best that you can, because I don't want you to lose track of them. Okay. All right, and did you? No, she not that I can see. I can't really see that look. Okay. All right, I've got them on the way. Okay, just try to keep an eye on them, but officers are on the way. Okay. Okay, thanks. Thank you. Okay, bye.
And thanks to Fox 5 in Alabama for that, for the full 911 call. And I gotta say what a lot of other creators are thinking. Yes, she lied, but I'm also thinking there's a lot more questions than there are answers, and I'm waiting to find out what's really going on. So I'm gonna get opinions from you guys, but the bottom line is, with me, I'm gonna keep on staying with this story, and when I find out what's really going on with this, I'm gonna bring it to you. But like I said, I want to get opinions from you guys first. Sav, I'm gonna start with you.
I think it's all very strange, like right from the outset when she's gone missing, it seems to be quite legitimate. And from the outset, like you've always got to take things, giving someone the benefit of the doubt that it is actually real,
Mm-hmm.
And, I've tried to, until looking at this press conference this morning, I've tried to keep a very straight mind on, that it is a legit thing. But the things that get me is not so much that she took a robe or a roll of toilet paper from her work, because, anyone can do that. What gets...
Mm.
Yeah, it's
we
not...
We lost you there for a sec.
Yeah, it's not $200 worth of cash. It's exactly $107. And then the searches on the internet are really quite bizarre. And, why would anyone who's just driving down a freeway, what I call a freeway or a motorway, be leaving an expensive car on the side of the road and faking their own abduction? I mean, that is not logical at all. If I owned a Merc, and I do own a classic car, there is no way that I would ever do something like that just to draw attention. You wouldn't do it. So there was two conflicting things that was said by the person who gave the information, and he said something to do with her
alleged abduction.
Yeah, and then he kind of contradicted himself like 2 minutes later, or not even 2 minutes later, or a couple of seconds later. So it kind of seems to reason that, like, he even said it was a kind of odd thing to do, to be searching, multiple searches on Amber Alerts. I know that over here, if we were to fake something like this, it's really not a good thing. It just doesn't make any sense, and you're right, it does bring up more questions than answers. And if someone is going to do something that isn't right like that, and it's really not real, then 100% they're messing it up for anyone who really does have a real situation. There's been a lot of criticism, because I'm actually in the Facebook group. There's been a lot of criticism left, right and centre on the Facebook group. They even stopped it overnight, my time, for comments. They actually put a stay on the group. The group is going private at 6 o'clock. 6 p.m. I don't know whether that's 6 p.m. my time or your time because it's based in America. But there are a
That
lot of
would be 6 p.m. Pacific time, which is right about now.
yeah. So that group is now going private. There's been people who posted in there that say they're close friends of hers or whatever, saying things, and you kind of look at it and go, like, is this for real? Like, I did actually see a post about a semi-trailer and someone with orange hair in that group, so I kind of knew about that, but it wasn't out anywhere else. So I wasn't exactly going to like go putting things out there on other YouTube channels or anything like that without having there doesn't seem to be a lot of basis for foundation other than what they're saying about the internet searches. And then when he said that there are other searches that they were keeping private for her state of mind, I'm kind of thinking, what?
Exactly. Arctic Fox, what do you think, man? Or can you hear us? Something's wrong with Arctic Fox's audio. Hopefully, we'll get to him. Or he'll come back up in a moment.
Yeah, hopefully he's got it sorted because it's not working for him.
Right. But like I said, I'm gonna dive deeper into this case, see what other information I can come up with, and I'll bring it back here. When I get more evidence, I'll bring it because, like I said earlier, it's just more questions than there are answers to this. Okay. And single mom wants to know where the Arctic Fox go. I don't know. Hopefully, he'll either be in the chat or he'll come back up momentarily. All right, I'm gonna move on. I'm looking at the list. Oh, yes, I got something here in the Chad Dorman case that's worth seeing. Let me pull this up. This is the Bill of Particulars. Let's see if I can. All right, there we go. This Bill of Particulars tells us everything we need to know as far as what Dorman is charged with, and there's a great number of redactions in it, but it breaks down everything. Starting with the first count of aggravated murder on June 22nd, 23. He said that on about of June 15th of 23, at the location of the defendant Chad C. Dorman, did purposely and without prior calculation and design the death of one of the children CLB, contrary to the form of the statute in such case made and provided, and against the peace and dignity of the state of Ohio. Are you getting all this?
Yeah.
Yes, this. Like I said, this thing is breaking. It's breaking down everything. And what he did. Let's see. Furthermore, the offense at bar was committed while the offender was committing, attempting to commit, or fleeing immediately after committing, or attempting to commit kidnapping, and either the offender was principal offender in the commission of aggravated murder, or if not the principal offender, committed the aggravated murder with prior calculation and design. Basically, this bill of particulars, and I won't try to repeat myself with it all. It's pretty much the same for all three children, for all the aggravated murder counts. And there is a reason why I kept calling Dorman the baddest dad in the land, because look at this. This is in the middle of page 5. The defendant made multiple statements to law enforcement, such as, "I did it. Take me to jail," or "I shouldn't have done that. I should have shot blank and them." Dorman basically admitting that he shot the children, that he should go to jail. He should have shot whoever else and them. I'm gonna assume that that person he was referring to was the mother, simply because, as I've said many times when I cover this story, those kids were their mother's life. So as far as I'm concerned, and I stand with this today, Chad Dorman ended not one, not two, but 4 lives that day, possibly 5. Sav, talk to me.
Well, I'm not 100% up on this case, but it seems to that what I gathered about it is that it seems to stem over a child doing something or something like that at the time, or one of them anyway. And it's just really awful. Like, how can people so desperately want to get rid of their kids that they have to shoot them? Like, seriously.
This to me is it's not a simple shoot, you're dead. No, this man executed those kids. Arctic Fox, what's good, man? I hear that sigh, brother. Talk to me.
I'm sensing anger with the fox.
I can tell it too. I can tell it too. And single mom is probably saying the same thing that Fox is thinking right about now. Yeah. He can't hear anyone. He doesn't know what's going on. His computer doesn't like melon. I get it. I get it. The last few weeks has been working pretty well. Now I don't know what's happening now. Getting back to Chad Dorman. Like I said, I call him the baddest dad in the land, not because he's such a stand-up guy, but the simple fact of that he executed those 3 boys. Executed. You don't do that. You don't do that unless you're like military minded, and even then, you don't do that to children. What the? And then have the audacity at one point at the point when he's caught by law enforcement. "I did it. Take me to jail." Hello, Miranda rights. Anything you say can and will be used against you in a court of law. So much that happened on that day. those little boys, ages 7, 4, and 3. There's so much they covered and so much that's been redacted in this bill of particulars. Basically, when time comes for trial, they're gonna have an unredacted version just for the court, and I believe that this is going to put Dorman behind bars for life. For life. No two ways about it. Sav.
Oh, look, it might put him away for life, but he probably won't last very long in jail. I know that over here, that when people do horrible things to children, they certainly don't get the best of reception when they turn up to jail. So more than likely, they'll have to severe.
Arctic Fox chimed in saying that Dorman is a piece of crap, and so is his dad. Dad more concerned about more about his son than his 2 dead grandbabies. The only thing I can correct you on that, Fox, it's 3. That's the only thing I can correct you on. Other than that, you're dead spot on. Go ahead, Sav.
I don't understand why the guys even pled not guilty. I'm just reading here. That's just bizarre.
I totally agree with that one. I totally agree with that one.
Yeah.
At one moment he's on the ground with law enforcement getting cuffed up and whatever. He's saying, "I did it. Take me to jail. I shouldn't have done it." Blah 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 blah. You said it, but you're gonna go to court and plead not guilty. What does the Fox say? Oh, put him in general plop and let him pass him around like a honey bun. Hello. You know what? This is the kind of thing. This is what I call prison justice. You get the right people in prison to find out what this newly convicted felon is convicted of, and they find out this atrocities to at least one kid. Really? Oh, we got his number for that. Yeah, let's see.
Good-looking little kids too. Good-looking little kids too. And just looking at a photo, and they're well looked after by the mother, obviously.
Yeah, because like I said earlier, those kids were her life. Fox says that the dude admitted it on multiple occasions and he had been planning it to boot. I agree with. I know this. That's why it's called premeditation. Although they didn't charge him with that, they should have. Those 3 boys, yes, beautiful kids, wonderful. And then he turns on them and literally executes them.
Yeah, it looks like another death row case by the look.
Here's the thing. Here in the U.S., our death row will put him up there about for 20 years before.
Yeah, that's something that I don't understand. I don't understand. They sentence someone to death. They do have to go through an appeal process and all that kind of stuff if they do. But why does it take then another? It doesn't take 20 years to do an appeal case. It really doesn't, And if they want to go down through Innocence Project and all that kind of stuff, well, when you've got cases like this that are clearly open and shut, what is the point of keeping someone alive for another 20 or 30 years before they go down the path of execution? Like, you say you're going to sentence them to death, you haven't done it. You know, what if America wants to have, you know, certain states that have the death penalty, and there's obviously forced against it. We don't have it here. Sometimes we wish we did, particularly when it comes to heinous crimes. I don't get why they sit there for so long. And then they have, you know, people coming out and saying that it's cheaper to keep them alive than it is to kill them. I mean, how can that possibly be?
Your guess is almost as good as mine. I'm still trying to get a clue on it. Single Mama Ford reminds us that he did shoot the mom in her hand as she went to protect the children. That's another thing that kills me. That is another thing that kills me. She's doing her level best. She did her level best to protect her children. And here's on Fox, yeah, I agree 100%, especially in a case like this, where there are multiple eyewitnesses and he has confessed. Again.
I like Fox's other comment up there, by the way. He says, put him in the general population and let them pass his ass around like a fucking honey bun. And that's exactly what inmates will do. They will seriously have to severely isolate this guy. Even here, when it comes to child crime, once they hit prison, they are absolutely fair game and they will get bashed.
That's what I was talking about earlier. That's what we call prison justice. And he determined he deserved every little bit of that. Now, I want to show you a little something from Court TV. This was if I can get this set up here. There's documents that detailed his final moments before he executed those three sons. So I want to hit you with first the copyright disclaimer.
Single mum, you're 100% right. They do fail kids, and there kind of is not really an answer for how to protect them the way they should be either. Apart from the fact that sometimes, we had a heinous case here, Bethea, in Queensland a while back, where the mother was fearful for her life and for her children, and the father was deranged enough to set them alight in their car, and they all died. The mother and the kiddies died, and it was a known thing by the authorities, and they just kind of let it slip through the cracks, so to speak. It was just terrible. I don't know how authorities are not, taking things a bit more seriously. Not just in my country, but your country as well.
Yeah. Fox says, "I'll make it like the old days. Sell tickets to the executions. You'll pay the price and pay for the execution and then some." Youch. So, like I said, I'm gonna show you this from Court TV. I'm putting up the disclaimer right now, and I'm also gonna issue a trigger warning if what you're about to see right now is a bit of a trigger for your heart or your mental health, I suggest you step away from this right now, because this may get a tad graphic. All right, there's your warning. Oh no, I thought it was a video. This is the article. It just breaks down everything. The body cam footage, the bill of particulars. All of what happened, but the information that I heard about this was that right before the children's execution, they all napped together. They all napped together before this happened. Let's see. Fox says being a parent today is so much harder than it was for our parents. There was no internet. The drugs issues were nowhere near as bad. Usually there was a parent at home. You're right. Continues on to say that there are so many more issues to have to contend with for parents today. Absolutely. And nobody ever said parenting was easy, but parents have to be a lot careful when it comes to their kids. They have to be careful. But still, yet and still, internet or not, drug problem or not, the truth is, parents have one job. If they can't do it, give them to someone who can. And I got another case I want to cover in just a minute, in just a few minutes. Let's see, Fox I read that, and the gun that he killed them was right beside the bed during that time. Yeah. And ladies and gentlemen, if you don't know me by now, if I'm sounding like I'm crying to you, first off, I apologize for that. But second of all, I take cases like this personally. Should I do so? Some say no. But I'm a child of. I've been a foster kid. I've been adopted. I understand how triggering that can be. I may have been blessed with parents that took me in, loved me like their own. But at the same time, I could have been on the opposite end. Single mama 4 said, I was mental and had drug issues, lost my kids once, but I never did anything of this magnitude. No, of course not. Of course not. You loved your kids to let them go, let them have a life while you got better. Raised in foster care but was never adopted. I understand that. I totally do. Fox. Not an argument. I'm just saying that when parents are working 2 jobs just to get by, it's hard to monitor their activity at all. I do go through my nephew's phones once a week. There you go. Oh, that's being an active parent. Go ahead, Sav.
And I'm going to add to that what Arctic Fox has just said too, because like when you have 2 jobs just to get by and you can't monitor your kids and you hand them over to a babysitter or anything like that, there is absolutely no guarantee that you can be there to hear what they're saying to your children. They're scripting your children in the early years where you should be scripting your own children. And that's why back in the 50s, there was the father that went to work and the mother that stayed home. And a lot of the times, the kids were home with the mother until they were school age kind of thing. And then mum maybe tried to find a job of some kind, or basically she was a home devoted person and that's what she did. I'm not saying women shouldn't have a career at all. I think everyone's entitled to further themselves and better themselves, but if you choose to have children, that's what you do. You do need to take them and make them first and foremost in your life. And it makes it even harder when some people end up being a single parent or
Mm-hmm. Hang on, guys. Yep, just that quick. Go ahead, Sav. You were saying you got before you
Yeah,
got all knocked up.
yeah, there's a lot of ifs around, family nucleus family scenarios these days, and it's very, very difficult to kind of put a responsibility in one particular place. But if it's your kid, that's your responsibility. It's nobody else's. You
Exactly.
just can't farm them off like I'm going to have a child and then farm it off to someone else while you go and do something. You need to find something to do where you can be there to look after your children.
Right. And then in the next case we talk about what about the children that never even get the chance to live? And yes, Alexi Treviso, I'm talking about you. I mean, she went, had the baby, in the hospital, out of the view of nurses and whatever, and then trashes. All right. I know I may have showed part of this on last week. I know I may have showed part of it. Let's see. Whoa. Fox says, well, in the U.S. with our economy, women don't have any choice in many cases but to work multiple jobs. Trickle down economics kill the way the stay-at-home mom for all but the rich. Yep.
Fox, I can guarantee to you that that's not just America, that it is in Australia as well. For an example, like just on rental and housing and everything. Yesterday, I received an email from our rental agency that they were putting the rent up $70 a fortnight. $70. Rent in Sydney has become astronomical. We are following and a lot of people are going, oh no, we're not going down the tubes. We've been following the US, but we're behind the times in our economic crisis from everything. And these sorts of things don't help to put food on the table and keep your kids where they should be. So it's happening in a lot of different countries. It's just not US.
Single Mama Force tells us to look at the Khaleesi Kuthriel case in Virginia. The mother was doing time for her VOP trying to get straight to hand her child to Kenny, Joe, and Travis. They ended up unaliving Khaleesi. Oh yeah, that was crazy. Now, Fox covered that one on a few occasions. Now again, back to this. I know I've shared this on a couple of live streams, but courtesy of Inside Edition, this is the arrest affidavit for Alexi Treviso. And listen to this. I spoke with the hospital staff at one time who had witnessed the events and had them tell me what they witnessed. The following is a synopsis. For further details, refer to the Axon body cam recordings of Lila Lewis, Lori Aragon, and Hilliard Halliday. Showed that Alexi had gone to the emergency room for lower back pain. Alexi denied being pregnant and told the nursing staff she had regular periods and did not have sex, which we all know is a lie. Alexi told nursing staff she was currently on her period. Lab work done. Alexi was found to be pregnant, went to the bathroom, and refused to come out after being inside the restroom for an extended period of time. She didn't come out until nursing staff got the keys from security to unlock the door and told Alexi that they were coming in. Alexi opened the restroom door and went back to her room. The nursing staff found the restroom covered in blood after she opened the door. They started treatment on Alexi for what they initially thought was Alexi trying to harm herself or having pregnancy-related medical problems. The nursing staff checked the toilet and found it empty. They checked the trash inside the restaurant and found nothing on top of the trash. Nursing staff was unsure if Alexi was experiencing an ectopic pregnancy, miscarriage, or was trying to cause a self-induced miscarriage. I'm gonna stop reading from there because because Fox is nailed it on the head. It is a sad state of affairs. It is. I mean, come on, how do you do that to a child? How do you do that? And I know there's a lot of people who has covered this story or listened to this story, and they don't like this case. Hey, so, you have two people on this panel right now. Sav, what do you think?
Oh, look, I've looked at the tapes again of the mother when they got her in the waiting room and everything like that, and a lot of people criticize her and stuff and everything, and I'm very conflicted with this because, like, in some ways, like, if you've been, a parent and gone through a pregnancy, there is no way in the world that she would not be able to recognise it as such. And if she indeed didn't realise and just thought that her kid was fat, then, you're not keeping an eye on your child, basically. And in that sense also, she's not actually a child. She's 19 years of age. And essentially, classed as an adult in your country. So it stems to me that, like, she's in some ways in that waiting room, she's completely in shock of the whole situation because she's been either so introspective is what the word is, where you are focused more on yourself than anything else. But then she seems to have this, like, outwardness where she keeps her daughter under her thumb fairly well, tooth and nail. So it kind of doesn't make sense. She either knew or she didn't know. And then she kind of breaks down at the end of that vision. And you're kind of like sitting there going, well, which is it, lady? Is it that you just don't know, or you do know, and you're more concerned about your daughter than the fact that you've just had a grandchild be born and die very, very quickly, So there's a lot more behind the scenes in that, and more than likely will come out in the court case, hopefully, that maybe shed some light on some of this, but it just doesn't make any sense whatsoever.
And Fox hits the nail on the head again. I've been saying that from the beginning. She knew exactly what she was doing. She was in total CYA mode. I mean, come on. Yep, here we go. Fox hitting on option one. She had options. Put that kid up for adoption or give it to the system where it has a chance to have a good life. Yes. How many times have I said this in live streams? He was quoting Michael Jackson from the song "Wanna Be Starting Something." If you can't feed the baby, don't have a baby, and don't think maybe if you can't feed your baby. Common sense. Yeah, Fox would have been more than happy to take that in. I second that emotion. Wholeheartedly. I mean, the bottom line is giving that child a chance to live. Be the best person he or she could be. In this case, he. Sav.
Yeah, I agree with the alternative adoption things, or just go out and get yourself an abortion, girl. Like, if you're gonna, like, quit it like that, then you're extremely naive on sexual education, and obviously not that naive because she claimed she was on the pill. So Like normally when you go to the doctor and ask for the pill, the doctor's going to ask you a lot of questions whether you're sexually active or not and things like that. They don't just hand it out. They do all the proper, routine examinations of you with giving out the pill. So, she's obviously gone through all of that. She must know something about sex. She must know something about pregnancy. There's no way in the world that she knew nothing whatsoever.
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Anyway, they break down everything that happened at that point. I'm jumping right to number 7. Said I later reviewed Officer Williams' body camera video of when Dr. Vasquez spoke with Alexi about the incident. Alexi said the newborn came out of her and she didn't know what to do with it. Alexi said it was not crying or anything when she gave birth. Alexi said she just put it in a bag, said nothing was crying, referred to the newborn baby as nothing. When asked by Rosa about what Alexi did, Alexi said she put it in the bag. Put it in the bag. And then on top of that, she goes on to then long after that, she goes on to actually name the baby Alex. And Fox says, if you're not ready for the consequences of being a parent, don't stick the peg in the hole. Yep.
I like the play on words there. That I actually do got a chuckle on that one because there's no truer word than that. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, if you're not wanting to play things and you don't want the consequences of it, like the thing is, like these people, they just don't get what the consequences are. They just think, oh yeah, we'll just do this and we'll have some fun, and then nothing's going to come of it. Like hello, some people are very fertile out there.
And one other thing that's ticking Fox off it ticked me off as I read that. She keeps referring her child to it as it, yet she had enough nerve later on to name the child Alex. Narcissistic much?
Yeah, in respect to that, I kind of liken this to the other cases out there, the Aliva case, where it happened like a year ahead. It was in the same state, but in a different town or city. And she also referred to her child as nothing.
Nothing. Yeah, that's another.
Nothing.
That's another term that just tore my guts in two.
And then that research that we talked about before,
right?
Where it's common for
She'll be back. Damn, just that quick. That research you were talking about?
Yeah, the research that we found on teenagers that do things to their children after they're born. So it is rather odd, though, that she has had this child, referred to it as nothing, and then when it goes for, burial or cremation in this case, where she names it, well, I suppose you can't put nothing on the headstone, I suppose, or the plaque. So you'd have to give it some sort of name, but in accordance with like other reports out there, she had already planned to call it Alex in advance. So there's no way in the world this girl didn't know she was pregnant if she was like already figuring out names in advance. So it's rather odd. I kind of think maybe she's kind of copycat some of that other case.
Yeah, the only difference in that other case is that child is alive. That child is alive. He has a live.
Yeah, it's very lucky that it's alive, as we know. So, it's amazing that it is alive, that one. And then she asked for it back. She was going to have it back.
She doesn't deserve it, but that's my opinion. Okay, moving onward. Let me take you all back some years. We're talking about probably the biggest cold case we've ever had in John Benet Ramsey. And I'm gonna set this up, and I'm gonna turn this all over to my main man, 50 grand, the one and only Vinny Politan, to set this up for us. Give us a little something to talk about on that case. But as always, I got to give you the disclaimer before I share it.
Just before you chug her on to the next one, is there any update on any court date with Treviso?
Not that I've heard yet, but I'm still waiting for that information to come up as well. All right, Vinny, you're up.
December 26, 1996. A brisk, clear morning in Boulder, Colorado. John Ramsey was up before dawn.
Well, I was shaving, I guess, in the bathroom.
And we have a back staircase from the bedroom areas. And I always come down that staircase, and I'm usually the first one down. And the note was lying across the run of one of the stair treads. And it was kind of dimly lit because it was very early in the morning. And I started to read it, and it was addressed to John.
A terrifying message scrawled across 3 pages.
It said, "We have your daughter."
I just heard Patsy scream. I could tell by her scream that something horrible was going on. I didn't know what.
I immediately ran back upstairs and pushed open her door, and she was not in her bed.
John Benet Ramsey was found dead, strangled, in the basement of that home. Wasn't kidnapped. This case still never solved. No one's been held responsible since 1996, but some huge developments tonight we want to talk about. Let's bring in our special guest joining us in New York, senior reporter for the U.S. Sun, Luke Kenton is with us.
I'm gonna hold off on Luke Kenton's talking with Vinny Politan real quick. Arctic Fox True Crime. He gave me this link, and I have a link of my own, courtesy of another good friend and ally in the true crime community, Juju Bones. But I'm gonna start with this link here first from Fox. Hold on. Okay, let me share this real quick with everybody.
JonBenet Ramsey's body in December 1996, I have been often asked about my opinion as to the author of the ransom note. Those who know me also know I do not follow true crime cases and therefore could not give a definitive or professional opinion. Approximately 10 years later, a man named John Mark Carr randomly confessed to the crime. On the local news at the time, I saw snippets of handwriting samples between John Mark Carr's and the ransom note. Although I immediately could tell it was not the same author, another handwriting analyst went on the news and stated that it was indeed John Mark Carr who wrote the ransom note. Although I had never shared my opinion publicly about that, one thing I did say consistently to anybody who asked was that if we can identify the author of the ransom note, we are one step closer to solving the crime. On July 10th, 2023, private investigator Jason Jensen, working with John Ramsey, contacted me and asked if I would be willing to examine the ransom note and compare it to known writing samples of a specific individual and therefore render my official opinion. I believe one reason that I was chosen is because I would approach the case with an open mind, having no preconceived or biased views. This is in direct contrast to many other handwriting analysts, experts, and even the general public who have unfairly blamed Patsy Ramsey and scrutinized John and Burke. It is important to remember that everyone reacts differently to trauma, and just because somebody does not react the way you would, does not render them guilty of a crime. Since July 10th, 2023, I have been diligently comparing the ransom note with numerous known handwriting samples from this specific individual. I have devoted extensive time and effort to this task, working almost continuously, often around the clock. The samples I have examined include the ransom note, but also known handwriting samples from the time around the crime to more recent years. As a result of my meticulous examination, I have formed a highly confident professional opinion. I am hopeful that in the near future, I will be given permission to share my visual evidence with you. But for now, let me say this. Despite the possibility and likelihood that other analysts and even the general public will attempt to discredit me or my findings due to their tunnel vision and biased belief in Patsy's guilt, their attempts will not influence my opinion. That's why, in order to maintain my credibility, I took the initiative of sharing my results with another trained question document examiner named Dawn McCarty. Dawn independently examined the same documents and reached the same conclusion. Therefore, it is my professional opinion that Patsy Ramsey did not author the ransom note. It is my professional opinion that John Ramsey did not author the ransom note. It is my professional opinion that Burke Ramsey did not author the ransom note. Instead, based on 36 international years as a court-qualified question document examiner and forensic handwriting expert, it is my professional opinion that Gary Oliva did, in fact, author the ransom note. Again, this is Dr. Moselle Martin. Today is July 18th, 2023, and you heard it here first. Thank you.
All right, that was the doctor who examined the handwriting sample. And Zav, I haven't even played the confession yet. Now we have authenticity as to who wrote the ransom note. Your thoughts?
Yeah, that's very interesting. It's the first time I've obviously seen that. Good find by Arctic Fox too, by the way. Credence for that one. I think it's very interesting that the guy's been claiming this for ages and ages. What gets me is why didn't his mate that he was like writing to bring all this out earlier? Why just now, you know?
I guess he wanted to make sure he was the one to take credit or whatever you want to call it for
Yeah, but when someone writes to you and they start sending that sort of stuff to you in packages and everything, like, wouldn't you be like straight on to your local law enforcement and working with them in conjunction with it? Because it sounds like that they held on to it for quite some time before they took it anywhere.
Absolutely. Now I'm gonna bring the actual confession on it with a lot of editing done from Juju Bones. Shout out to her. This had me saying like one of my favorite TikTokers. It had me going, yo, what the beep did I just watch? And by the time you get through with this, you'll be thinking the same thing. If not, what did I watch? But what did my ears just hear?
But I stupidly let her die. And from there, I just degenerated into an even more evil person than I was. I just gave up and didn't care once I realized she was dead. If I had only paid attention, we would have a family now and be living on a private island. Instead, I let the one I loved die. In my arms, helplessly, watching the life drain from her eyes as all lights went out. Please don't give up on me. I never loved anyone like I did John Bonet, and yet I let her slip and her head bashed in half, and I watched her die. It was an accident. Please believe me. She was not like the other kids. Please don't hate me. You're the one and only person I write to. I'm sorry I'm evil and murdered children. Please don't turn your back on me. Please keep writing to me. I consider myself to be very lucky to know you. In another letter, Gary also wrote, John Bonet completely changed me and removed all evil from me. Just one look at her beautiful face, her glowing beautiful skin, and her divine God body, I realized I was wrong to kill other kids, yet by accident she died, and it was my fault. Gary Oliva is set to be released in 2025.
Wow. Wow. Okay, before we go to before we go to you, Sam, I want to hit this up from Arctic Fox. He says, I for one want to publicly, now I'm using his exact words here. I for one want to publicly apologize to Burt because I have for years speculated that he was responsible just after his appearance on Not a Dr. Phil. Biased on his smiling while talking about his dead sister. At least Arctic Fox owns up to it. When he's wrong, he's wrong. Oh, and he's owning up to it right here. What do you make of all that, Sav? Sav? Sav, what do you make of all this? Okay, guess I can go ahead and throw my 2 cents in real quick. It did just hearing those confession letters from Oliva. They just gives me the chills, and not in the best way either. I can say that knowing the fact that he's going to be released in the next couple of years, they better do everything they can to find a way to keep that man behind bars, or we may end up seeing another child done the same way John Benet Ramsey was. Sav, what do you think?
Oh, look, this needs to be resolved, this whole thing. It's been going on for ages. I actually didn't realise how large their house was until recently. I mean, I was like probably in my 20s when this happened. Yeah, just sort of seeing them comment, going back over things, recently, and then seeing how big the house is. Like, they obviously didn't check every door or every window in the place at night time properly. And then with the police and how they haven't really followed things through 100%. They just haven't done the work they're supposed to do. Somehow, somewhere, it's fallen apart.
Right. I totally agree. Now that this confession is out, it's time for police to actually get on it, get on their job, and make sure that this Gary Oliva does not take one foot out of that prison. And give him a nice reminder. Give him a nice subtle reminder that everything he said in those confession letters can be used against him in court if they take it there.
Just back on the Russell case, I've just had something ping up in my Facebook that makes sense. Just let me know when you want to go back to that.
Go ahead.
Just now, I've seen it. So apparently, according to Facebook, she had some sort of idolization, or has some sort of idolization for Beyonce. And the messages go back to 2017 on Beyonce. And then it showed all these messages, and then apparently Beyonce had a concert in Nashville a couple of days ago. So the ticket that she looked up to go to Nashville, the price that she had in a sock being $107, would probably be about the price of a ticket. So they're kind of like matching it up that she was like trying to do something to get to a Beyonce concert.
That's weird.
Kind of makes sense though. If you've done a search on your internet saying bus ticket to Nashville, you got $107 in your sock.
Yeah. Getting back quickly on the Ramsey case, Arctic Fox made this comment. He said, I agree. Much of the issue is that the crime scene was never secured, and not only did the Ramseys and all their friends travel through the crime scene and potentially contaminate evidence, they were at first laser focused on Patsy Ramsey. Now that we know, like I said, steps need to be taken to make sure that that Gary O'Leary needs to be kept behind bars. Fox, Fox
Bethea, I've never understood the focus on Patsy because, like, the way she dressed that little girl, the clothing that that little girl had and everything, she idolized her children, you know, both of her children, but, you know, putting the only thing that my mother didn't understand when she was alive was why would you dress a kid up like that and throw that amount of makeup on it, because we don't have those sorts of beauty pageants here, or didn't at the time. And my mother's comment was, you know, her departed soul, was that she was over-sexualizing the kid. And even recently, the father has come out saying that if he knew more about the beauty pageants and everything, he would never have allowed it.
You're hitting the same point I made last week with Fox on his live before I got knocked off of it. She was 6 years old, yet they had her looking like she's about 26.
Yeah, she was a beautiful child. Both the son, even in his older time now, being in his 30, I think he's 33 now. He's very good looking, and you know that little girl, she was stunning. She was a stunning child, and I could never understand why, if a mother was to, you know, do that to her own daughter that she absolutely dotes on, it didn't make sense that it would be the mum, you know?
You're right. And as far as your last piece on the Carly Russell case, which is still a lot more questions than answers, Fox is thinking exactly what I was thinking the moment he posted it. Wow, that's crazy. Faking a kidnapping to see Beyonce.
Yeah, I have to agree with that. If that's the case, if that's what she's done, and I still go back to how irresponsible is it to have such an expensive car, like a Mercedes Sports, which it pretty much is, leaving it running on the side of the road, faking something, or if it's a faking something, but also having researched, you know, on your internet, bus tickets to Nashville. And what is it? You know, like, what? She's what, 25 or something? Why would anyone stop her going to see a Beyonce concert if that's what she wants to do? Like, why not just grab a bus ticket or whatever and go? I mean, I've seen Beyonce when she came out here. She's fabulous, but I wouldn't fake something to go see her. That's for sure.
Thank you. That's for sure. That's for sure. And one last on the Ramsey case from Fox. He says this is a prime example of why we need to have a serious conversation about these pageants and the family channels on YouTube as well. Pimping out your kids for money is not appropriate. Amen to that. Let me give Fox a round of applause for that comment. On top of that, he just got there saying that he would drive a Mustang and will stab someone before she leaves before leaving his car on the side of the road. No doubt. No doubt whatsoever. I have one last story before I get out of here, and I gotta mention this this preface. And if Arctic Fox was on panel, he could tell you this. On a yearly basis, I speak out about the same thing. Just as the weather starts getting hot, the first thing I say is, okay, summer's coming. This is a public service announcement. Whatever you do, do not leave your child in a hot car. Your child can die from heat exhaustion, heat stroke, or whatever the case may be. Whatever the temperature is outside, take that temperature, add 20 degrees, and that's what the temperature inside your car is. Yet, apparently, people do not listen. or they just get caught up in their own thing and I'm reading this directly from the article, and I'm gonna let you watch it as I read it in real time. It says Polk County Sheriff's detectives have charged husband and wife Joel and Jasmine Rondon, both 33 years old, of Winchester Estate Circle in Lakeland, with aggravated manslaughter of a child, a first-degree felony, after the couple left an 18-month-old toddler in a car overnight when they returned home from partying, and the child died while strapped into her car seat in extreme heat the next day. Strapped into her car seat in the extreme heat the next day. Ladies and gentlemen, what have I always said about common sense? Say a lot for people in the back. Or are they too busy sexting to remember their child? No, it's not. No, it wasn't sexting. Remember, they had Remember. Well, let me go further than this, Fox, and everybody else watching. On July 4th, 2023, the couple went to a 4th of July celebration in Lakeland with 3 children under the age of 9 and did not return home until around 3 a.m. July 5th. Now watch this. Now I'm sounding like my pastor. Now watch this. The pair consumed alcohol and smoked marijuana at the party. When they returned home, as they began unloading food items and items from the car, Jasmine told Joel to bring the female toddler inside while she brought the other 2 children inside. Joel observed that one of the car doors was open at the time. Joel brought stuff inside their home, and when he went back outside, he saw all 4 doors of the Hyundai Elantra closed and assumed Jasmine had gotten the toddler out. He went inside and laid down in bed with his wife. Neither husband nor wife asked each other if they had brought the victim inside. They went to sleep. Joel woke up around 10 a.m. that morning, spent an hour getting ready for work. Around 11 a.m., he asked one of the kids to check on the baby in the bedroom. The child told Joel that the baby was not in the bedroom, at which time Joel began looking around the house for her. He then went outside and looked in the car, which was parked in the driveway in the full sun. Inside the car, he saw the victim still strapped in a car and unresponsive. He brought the toddler still strapped in a car seat in the house in a panic. And then he and Jasmine drove the child to Lakeland Regional Health Medical Center. Despite all efforts and cooling her body down, she could not be revived and was declared deceased. At 2:42 p.m., her internal body temperature was 104.4. 104.4. Fox says he can beat that. He just covered a case where a woman left a toddler in a playpen alone for 10 days while she took an island vacation to Puerto Rico. I heard about that case. I'm just kind of glad I'm not covering it. Because knowing me, knowing how I am about cases involving kids, you know how I get. You know how I get. And see, this is why I love having Arctic Fox, whether he's in the chat or on the panel. He says things I want to say and I can't. In this case, he says some people just need to be sterilized at birth. So, my God, how true a statement is that? Sav, we're talking about 33-year-old parents leaving their 18-month-old toddler in the car.
Yeah, it happens here too. I was just looking up the stats here. The stats here is over the past 5 years, 10 children are reported to have died after being left in hot cars, with half of those deaths taking place in Queensland, which is a very hot state.
Oh, my God.
According to KidSafe Australia, and alarmingly, every year more than 5,000 Aussie children are rescued after being left unattended in a car. Now, when I say that, there is a case in Queensland where I think she left 2 children in her car. She was only jailed for 9 years. So our jailing terms seem to be a lot less than yours. But one of the sentences in the article, it says the car was left in direct sunlight with no shade and all doors and windows closed, leading to the car reaching an estimated temperature of 61.5 degrees Celsius. Now, you would have to convert that to your Fahrenheit. But it's obviously 6 degrees. 6 degrees what was predicted in New Death Valley, Nevada the other day by 10:30 a.m. Now, that's not the hottest part of the day here. It's not. And there was another case where some guy decided to drive his car down the street out of Sydney, parked his car there or dropped some kid off to school and walked around the corner back home to work, leaving his car where it was. And by 3 p.m., the child was dead, and they tried to break the back window open. Now, this is what confuses me. He was never charged, and he was released.
It's just amazing. It absolutely amazes me how much a lack of common sense will lead to a child dying because they're left in a hot car. The article continues. Keep in mind, this is from the Polk County Sheriff's Office. Around 7 o'clock that evening, Joel and Jasmine have both submitted to drug screens by the Department of Children and Families. Joel tested positive for meth, marijuana, alcohol. Jasmine tested positive for marijuana and alcohol. Autopsy determined that the victim's cause of death was hyperthermia due to being left in the car, and the matter of death is homicide. Joel and Jasmine were taken into custody on July 6th and booked into the Polk County Jail. Joel has an extensive criminal history. September of 2003, he was arrested by Plant City Police Department for criminal mischief. December 5, arrested by Plant City Police Department for aggravated assault with a deadly weapon and possession of paraphernalia, adjudication withheld. February and April of 2007, arrested by Plant City PD for resisting arrest. March of 2008, arrested by Plant City PD for attempted murder. July of 2009, arrested by Plant City PD for resisting arrest. November 2010, arrested by the County Sheriff's Office for resisting arrest. February 2023, arrested by Polk County Sheriff's Office and on a Lakeland PD warrant for carrying a concealed weapon, possession of meth, and possession of paraphernalia. Now, he and his wife are sitting behind bars. Now he and his wife are both sitting behind bars because they didn't lack they because even with drugs in their system, they lack the common sense to get their kid out of the car, leaving her strapped in there, letting the sun beat down on her on a Fahrenheit temperature of 141.8 degrees. They were only able to get her down to 104.4, and still that wasn't enough. Fox said, as far as what drugs they had in the system, he said, it sounded like they had the whole street pharmacy in their system. Could be right. Could be right from the way that was reported. I just hope they didn't get out on bond, because those two parents, and I use that loosely, those two are dangerous. Those two are absolutely dangerous, not only to anybody in the community, but to their own children. Anything you want to add to that, Sav?
Yeah, like I'll really gets on my goat. I mean, I can't decide what's worse, like killing a child with a knife or a gun, or letting them slowly dehydrate and, blister and in a hot car for hours and hours and hours. I think it's probably worse the hot car, to be honest, and yet, here they only get 9 years. Like, what do they get for leaving a kid in a car and they die over there? Is it the 25 or, like, what do they get? Because, even here, if you leave a dog in a car, the police will break into your car. They will smack the window open to get your dog out. So why would you leave children in a car? How can you be so ridiculously oblivious to strap your child into a car, drive it somewhere, and then not take them out?
Careless. Absolute carelessness. And as far as Florida goes, I usually don't agree with anything coming out of Florida. As far as the charge goes, I agree with Florida, charging them both with homicide. I mean, you're going to keep your child strapped in a car seat overnight. Then you wake up the next morning. You find that same child in the car, hot to the touch. I mean, grossly hot to the touch. You mentioned Celsius 61 and a half. In that case in New Zealand.
Yeah, they actually shot the shooter, and interestingly enough, they say there's no fear for anyone else down there. The funny thing is that it coincides with the Women's World Cup over there right now, which is due to start. Apparently, from what I could ascertain, it's was on a building site or something. There was a whole heap of people that got off a building site, and then there was also a shooting in Sydney as well, but that seemed to be kind of isolated. Yeah, there are a few things going on over here. We had I don't know if you've heard of this one, Bethea, but we had a situation a couple of months ago now where a 95-year-old woman who was in a nursing home on a walking frame holding a serrated knife was tasered by a policeman. and as a result of that, she fell to the ground and fractured her skull, and 7 days later she died. So that case has been going through here as well, and it's come out in court only yesterday that before firing a taser at a woman that only weighs 46 kilos, he said, "What the heck?"
That's wild. That's wild.
It is a wild case. I mean, like, a 46-kilo woman on a walking frame, surely a person would be able to disarm them rather than having to stick a taser on them. You know, like, she's an old lady, for crying out loud. And, like, why is it that the nursing home decided that they needed to call in the police? It's just ridiculous. Like, when you put your elderly people into a nursing home, you do it because they're meant to be cared for, you know? Yeah. Thank you for converting that, Arctic Fox. I do appreciate it, because it is a bit difficult for me to think in Fahrenheit terms.
Well, in the case I was just talking about, this girl was cooled down to 104.4. That converts to 40.2 Celsius, and even that is still a little too hot.
Well, a lot of our hottest days here can get up into, you know, they usually, you know, where our weather stations usually measure via shade. So if they're saying that we're going to have a 39-degree day here, which we do get, that's measured by shade. So if you stand out in the sun, you know, you'll burn to a crisp in no time flat. So we do have, you know, we're a fairly hot country here too. So I do get where you guys are coming from with, you know, babies and children in cars. And I would say that Florida would have fairly similar temperatures to our Queensland or inland regions. Only inland we have more dry heat, as opposed to being on the coast. It is very much more humid, and it's a lot more difficult to take. So I'd imagine that the kind of you know, temperatures is a little, you know, quite similar in that respect. But yeah, there's just no rhyme or reason for leaving your children in a car. Like, if you want to go to the pub, take them home, or if you can't get anyone to.
She's right about that. She is absolutely right about that. If you want to go party, you want to do all that other stuff, keep kids home.
If you want to be a party house person on the methamphetamines, you know, like, don't have children.
That's it. Common sense.
And then Fox is just saying it's, you know, 103 Fahrenheit today here, and they're not even the hottest part of the year. Well, I can tell you now, with our summer this year going into autumn, it was almost like we didn't have autumn. It went straight from summer within about a week to almost like winter. we didn't have autumn.
A couple of years back here in Oregon, our hottest day was 116 Fahrenheit. Now I'm gonna let you guys do the math, and I'll try to relate that kind of heat to this story. The bottom line is a child under that excruciating heat would have indeed died. And if parents left that child in a hot car on that day, you know what the end result would be. So I guess I'm gonna have to do this again. I'm gonna have to act like today is the first day of summer. Parents, the temperatures are getting hotter. And with that heat on the outside, tack on 20 degrees, and that's your temperature inside your car. It is not safe to leave your child or your pets inside a hot car. Do not leave your children in hot cars. If there's something else you want to do, keep your child home. It's your best bet to keep that child alive. It's the best bet to keep your pets alive. If you leave your child in a hot car, chances are your child will die. Period.
Like just looking at Fox's note there, where you get 4 seasons in a week. Yeah, we can get that here too. But I can give you an example today, and I'm in actually in regional New South Wales right now, which is inland. The hottest part of the day is going to be between 1 and 4 p.m. this afternoon, and it's going to reach 18 degrees. And it's July and the middle of winter. Now, that's pretty darn warm for us in wintertime. So we're having a very warm winter here.
I'm laughing at Fox with this one. He went, bought eggs, milk, oil, and a cake mix. By the time he got home, the cake was already baked.
Yeah, there have been people that have gone out there. I have a feeling that Reed Timmer did it one time. Do you know Reed Timmer over there?
I believe so.
He's awesome. I think someone like him has done put the egg on the roadway trick in it, and it's been done over here too.
Yeah, I've
you
seen
can
that.
cook an egg out there. Yeah,
I have seen that done.
Yeah. He's an amazing. You've got an amazing meteorologist in him. Seriously.
How you doing, April? Good to see you. You caught us right in the thick of our final story of the day. The parents had left their 18-month-old toddler in a hot car, and I just had to do my PSA all over again. Don't leave your child in a hot car, please. It's not worth losing your child. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, so that's it. What was supposed to be just a mere 4-piece got added with some breaking news, plus the missing persons case. Don't forget, ladies and gentlemen, please don't forget about Lashaya Stein. Please don't forget her. If you see something, say something. Lashaya again stood at the time of her disappearance about 5 feet 6 inches tall, 150 pounds. Long black hair, usually worn in a bun. Brown eyes with a quarter-sized round scar on her chest. This case is being covered by the Aurora Police Department and the Denver FBI office. If you have any information on her whereabouts, get in touch with the Aurora Police Department at 303-627-3100. Colorado Crime Stoppers 720-913-7867. Your local FBI office 911, or submit a tip online at tips.fbi.com. If you see something, say something. Boy. Yeah, I'm about to wrap it up here, Fox. Thanks for joining me, and I want to thank all of you for joining me. You guys, I love you guys. I do. I don't say it just to say it. I love you guys. Please take that, spread it around. Be good to yourself. Be kind to yourself. I want to be able to see you all back here next time. Zav, thank you so much for your expertise on the panel. Thank you, Arctic Fox, April Tubin, Single Mama 4, everybody that came in the chat. Thank you all. Again, I love you. Spread it around. We'll do this again next time. Bethea's Byte Reloaded, your home as always, for news, opinions, debates, your voice, and justice served. If you haven't caught it already, you already caught it how to get in contact with me on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, and my email. All right, ladies and gentlemen, it's going to be a wrap from me. Thank you all so much. I appreciate the love. I appreciate all the support. Let's do this again come next time. Until then, you all know what to do. Byte this. Hey guys, The Last Outlaw here. Thank you all so much for watching this video and subscribing to Bethea's Byte Reloaded. I appreciate the support of this little engine powered by you. Did you enjoy this video? Do you want to give your feedback on it? Here's what you do. Like this video to get more eyes on it. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Be sure to click the notification bell and set it to all to be notified of future videos. Share this video to your social media. I respond to your comments, good or bad, so drop your thoughts here. Be sure to follow Bethea's Byte Reloaded all over social media. At Bethea's Byte True Crime on Facebook. At EKB316 on Twitter. At Bethea's Byte Reloaded on YouTube. That's with and without the punctuation marks. At EB The Last Outlaw on Instagram. At King of Hearts 316 2021 on TikTok. You can email me at kingofhearts316_09 at outlook.com. This is your home for news, opinions, debates, your voice, and justice served. This is Bethea's Byte, and it's reloaded.